Hey, this is Eddie Hale, and I want to show you a few hints on how I drew the fence here on Lesson 9 in my Adobe Illustrator class. I counted, and I hate to give away the secret, but there's 44 little picket fence, uh, little pickets in the picket fence. They are tiny little things. You're going to need to start with a rectangle, and you have to draw it far enough away from the edge of the page so that it will print when it goes to our printers, and you have to draw it narrow enough that you can fit 44 of them in there. So I just eyeball the first one. That looks like about the shape of the picket, from that picket fence. I'm going to zoom in on this, and I am going to change the width just a little bit wider. And then I added an anchor point right to the center of the top. Take the white arrow and pull it up, and there's my first picket. If I turned on Smart Guides, I bet I could get this thing to line up with the center of the shape, and now it's perfectly symmetric. It is, it's filled with sort of a creamy color. I'll start with this. So that it's not just white, more of a creamy color. What is it stroked with? Looks like it's stroked with black, but it's a very thin stroke. So I will change the stroke width to 1/2 point. So there's my first picket. And I've got to stretch it all the way across the page. I'm going to take the black arrow and I'm going to option drag this over here. And Smart Guides will help me to option drag it perfectly horizontally. Again, I have to leave enough room between it and the edge of the page so that it will print. I'm going to zoom in a little bit now. So there are my two pickets, and I need to blend those. I need to select them both. I'm going to go to the blend tool, and I could double click the blend tool. I could go to blend make. There's a keystroke for it, or I could click this anchor point, click, and then click this anchor point, and it'll blend between those two. How did it choose that number of steps? Probably because that's the last number of steps I did. I'm going to go to blend options, and if I want 44 altogether, then I need 42 in between. Does that look like that to you? It's not going to look like that. When I click OK, they'll all be there. So there's my 44 steps. Looks like they're a little bit too wide. I could go in here now and double click this one and go into group edit mode. Zoom in on this, make this a little bit narrower. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to scroll over to this side, click on that one and make it narrower. By double clicking, I go into group edit mode. I don't think it changed. By double clicking somewhere else, I'll get out of this group edit mode. Double click. Now I'm back into the normal mode. When I click on this, it will act like it's one piece, as if it's grouped or it's blended. So there's my blend. The crossbars here are not a blend. I actually did blend the posts because the thing about this lesson that I want you to get is that you can evenly distribute things using the blend tool. That's basically what I did, is I duplicated and easily distributed all these things, all these posts, all these pickets across space. I'm going to draw these crossbars, and I'm going to pause the tape. I changed my mind. First, I'm going to draw the posts. So there's one of the posts. It's a little bit darker color. I'm going to send that to back. I'm going to option. I didn't want to do that. I'm going to option drag this post across here. And then blend these two. Double click my blend tool. I want 2 more of these. Okay. Click on one, click on the other. There's my posts. Now I'm going to draw my crossbars, and I will pause the tape and let you catch back up. So here I've drawn my crossbars, and I'm going to use my keystroke Command left bracket to send them backwards behind the pickets. They're behind the pickets, but in front of the fence posts. Beautiful. Now here's the tricky part. There is, barely discernible in this low resolution image, there is a shadow right here next to every picket. And I want that in your Illustrator document. So what you need to do is, I'm going to zoom in on this side, you need to draw a shadow. So what I did was I drew a little shadow here. It has no stroke, and it's filled with some light color like gray. And then I did that thing that I like to do so much, I changed the transparency, the blending mode to multiply, so that it just turns everything behind it a little bit darker shade of what it was before. Do I need that darker? There, I'll do that. It's in front of this picket, you might notice. That's okay, I'm not afraid. I'm going to option drag this down here so it's in front of that crossbar, and then I'm going to use my keystrokes Command left bracket to send it backwards behind that picket. So there's my first shadow. Isn't it beautiful? Now I need to blend it so that it goes behind every other picket. And this is a mathematical puzzle. So here I have to carefully grab those and option drag them this way. Option drag them over behind this last set of pickets here. Are they positioned right? I'm going to nudge them into place. Yeah, that's how I want them. I want them just like that. Now I need to blend these two together. And I must confess, I don't know how many steps it is. In fact, there's part of me that wants to pause the tape so that you can't see how many steps it is, because I'm sort of mean and nasty that way. I can't even select them. Do you see that? I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to shift click on this one here. And I need to blend those. Can you figure that out? There's 44 total pickets, but I'm not using this one, so we're down to 43 total pickets. But then you don't count the beginning and ending ones. So I'm going to go to Object, Blend, Blend Options, and I'm going to try 43 minus the two that are already there. I'm going to try 41 steps. Then I'm going to go to Object, Blend, Make. And it worked. Look at that. There's one behind each one. It makes me sad to give that secret away because it's sort of fun to watch students struggle with how many steps it is. But there, I'm feeling charitable today. Then I would, I kind of messed this up. I probably should have dragged these copies down here, scrolling. Sorry for the scrolling. Should have dragged these copies down here. I can grab this whole set of blends now and hold the Option key while I drag them down to the bottom here. And there you go, pickets with a shadow behind them. That's the hard part of that exercise, I think. I also, I drew the grass. That's a blend down here. It shows you how I drew a little section of the grass. And then I option dragged it over to the right 2 times, 3 times, and then I changed the scale of it and blended those two together. Then I duplicated that, made it a little bit taller and sent it to the back. I also made one bush, changed the size of it here and blended between those two. You can see the grass is lighter in the front, darker in the back, tried to give it a little bit of depth. The tire swing is some work, but I might let you figure that out. Thanks for watching.